Shalom. Shalom and welcome. This is Yasharal, Living Orders and Commands. It is an end-time series to those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father. Yahuwah is his name. To those who have or will soon come to understand and accept Yahusha as Messiah. Yahusha as Yahuwah's word manifest in the flesh. As Yahuwah manifest in the flesh, in the person, in the man. Yahusha Messiah. Who are we to say what the Almighty One can and cannot do? Who are we to dispute the decision made by the Almighty Father to manifest His word in the flesh in order us to identify His word manifest in the flesh, in the person, in the man, in the spirit of Yahusha? Who are we to dispute what He chose to do in order to restore us into fellowship? Soon and very soon, understanding clearly the life and all scriptures from Genesis to Revelation will become visible and understood among the children who will be known as the children of obedience, the children of Yahuwah. These words, this end time series, are to you who I consider my brothers and sisters. If you are tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah. Today is March 2nd, 2015, and this segment is entitled Sealed. Discovery has begun. Again, it is entitled Sealed. Discovery have begun. This is part 1. My brothers and sisters, though we may read the scriptures and talk strongly about how much we believe them to be true, our actions demonstrate a lack of a sense of urgency as it relates to end-time prophecy fulfillment, preparedness, and growing and set-apartness. Many of us speak boldly of our belief, our position, but for some reason we lack the ability to discern that we have indeed entered into birth pains. We are in denial or merely overtaken by so many types and shadows that we cannot see the realities of what's unfolding before our very eyes as it relates to end times. End times represent a part of a plan and a schedule that have been created long before we were ever born. End times is a time where specific prophecies are unfolding to identify the physical return of Yahushua Messiah and prove the promises of the Most High that they will be kept. There is much work to be done during these last days. Scriptures foretell of a final exodus of Yasharal, the children of Yahuwah, who will become known as the children of obedience, gathered from the four corners of the earth, who are not appointed to the wrath of the Almighty Father. Believe it or not, we have entered into that refining stage for that generation that will fulfill the final exodus, in or who will be martyrs for Yahusha's name. We will witness an emergence of individuals rising up strong in discernment, rising up as being used by the Spirit of Yahusha, functioning within us, one towards another, and through His chosen leaders. We will witness proof of all that is necessary for us to fulfill what is written. Each of us will fall into a category, whether it be among the final gathered in or those who will be martyred, or among the wicked. There are no middle grounds. We, Yasharal, consisting of those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, chosen by Him, will consist of both Hebrews or Abri and Gentiles, Goyim, which means other nations, who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, that are grafted into a body of one by Yahushua Messiah under one banner, and that banner would be and is Yasharal. End times will prove to be a season of extreme intensity as two major promises of the Most High will become recognized like never before. The promise of disciplining His children and the promise of exacting vengeance and wrath against those who have killed the innocent and spilled the blood of the innocent. Remember, both of these are promised and must come to be proven before the return of Yahushua Messiah. End times will prove to be a time of forced migrations and forced transitions, or if you prefer, forced displacement of populations. Global warming and climate change will be the largest contributor to end time prophecy fulfillment. These conditions will prove to be the most challenging to all who are physically alive on this planet. We will witness habitable places on this planet roll up like a scroll, and there will be a return back to the land where it all began, the region where it all began. Just as the Garden of Eden began within the region we know as the Middle East, we will see the end, the final days of man in these earthen vessels come to be in that same region. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. Look around and look at the conditions around the planet, and you will soon see evidence that there will be forced migrations. Erratic weather patterns, prolonged and increasing drought will soon prove to affect our food supplies and influence where we will choose to live. We will soon come to recognize famine is enlarging and that the entire population is at risk of starvation. Key word, at risk. We will begin to witness the beasts of the fields, whether they are tame or wild, will prove to search for fresh water and food, and in their desperation will intrude on the lives of men, women, and children on the face of this earth, in or face death or possible extinction. Believe it or not, these conditions have begun. Many animals, tame and wild, are fighting for fresh water. Many individuals who are in drought-stricken areas are fighting over fresh water and fresh water management. While the masses are asleep and or are distracted with lesser priorities and or vanity, wars and fightings of diverse types have already begun regarding fresh water and food, believe it or not. There will soon be chaos erupting as man begin to see that there are no real solutions in sight save for the plan of the Most High Father. Believe it or not, the wicked one is manipulating his servants. The wicked one, Satan, is preparing to execute his one world government and unveil the anti-Messiah, or as some may say, the Antichrist, along with the false prophet and beast system. Believe it or not, my brothers and sisters, I submit to you that the fullness of the anti-Messiah, or as some may say, the Antichrist and false prophet and beast system, cannot come into fruition. It cannot come into reality until Yasharal have been gathered from the four corners of the earth and have reached the promised land. Until we have been gathered from the four corners of the earth, until we have been removed out of the way into a safe place where we will await the physical return of Yahushua Messiah. I believe the two witnesses mentioned in Revelation will represent the last two shepherds of Yasharal, the last two shepherds of those who are physically alive seeking to do the will of the Almighty Father. I believe they will execute structure, instructions, and guidance that will bring unity among Yasharal. They will identify and confirm the chosen leaders of Yahushua Messiah, and they will execute the judgment, right rulings, and all that they have been ordered and assigned to do, to bring Yasharal together as one, under one banner. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. Soon the identity of these two individuals will be unleashed before the world, and unwaveringly, undoubtedly, the world will come to know what stage we have entered regarding the final days of man in these earthen vessels. The evidence of who has been chosen or ordained to fulfill the final exodus will soon rise among us, through us, one towards another, and through his chosen leaders. Those chosen or ordained have been sealed in their foreheads. Yes, my brothers and sisters, we have come to that point where those, the servants of Yahuwah, have been sealed in their foreheads. In other words, it has been established who will indeed fulfill the final exodus and or be martyrs for Yahushua's sake. We will become known as the children of obedience, who are not appointed to the wrath of the Almighty Father Yahuwah, as stated in scriptures. Regardless of whether we can accept that the servants of Yahuwah have been sealed or not, does not negate nor erase nor make void what has already occurred. We cannot stop the progressing plans or the functioning schedule of the Most High. Yes, my brothers and sisters, I am compelled to believe we have been sealed in our foreheads and that we are now in a time of discovery. In other words, discovery has begun. Discovering one another, discovering those who have been sealed and coming together as one under the banner of Yasharal, we will witness unity emerge among those who will fulfill the final exodus and or be martyrs for Yahushua's sake. Clearly, the living orders and commands of the Most High will become more visible with each passing day. Discovery has begun. Yes, discovery of those who truly are chosen to fulfill the task of the final gathered. Discovery of those who have been sealed in their forehead. We will discover one another and we will grow closer together in unity as the Spirit of Yahushua should direct and will direct. Let me present to you, my brothers and sisters, Revelation 7:3, saying, do not harm the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees, until we have sealed the servants of the Almighty One upon their foreheads. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, many of us have become so stubborn and void of listening. We have been overtaken with unbelief, but needless to say, we have reached the point where we have been sealed in our foreheads. On the matter of the earth, look around. It really would not take too much research to identify that we have polluted our lands with radioactive waste, toxic chemicals, junk from man-made things as a result of man's greed, excessive garbage and trash buried within our seas and rivers and landmass, and more. Believe it or not, if you also take under consideration the erratic weather patterns that are producing extreme conditions for growing food and raising livestock, clearly, make no mistake, we have harmed the earth. I ask you, when lands are dry and pestilent and diseases on the rise, does this not define the earth being harmed when you are unable to grow food, vegetation, fruits, nuts, grains, and or livestock? Have we not polluted the world beyond repair? On the matter of the sea, are you not aware that the Fukushima nuclear disaster that occurred in March of 2011 has been spewing radioactive waste in the largest ocean on our planet? To this date, it continues to contaminate the Pacific Ocean, which is the largest ocean on this planet. For 4 years now, radioactive waste has poured into this ocean. Are you not aware of the toxic chemicals and waste that have been buried in our oceans, rivers, lakes, and other waterways? That the containers in which they were put in are beginning to erode and leak out toxic poisons in our seas? Are you not aware, my brothers and sisters, that in addition to the pollutants, in addition to man's greed and neglect, that the rapid climate change has caused our oceans to become acidic like never before? It has caused dead zones to erupt larger than ever before, dead zones where fresh water and salt water merge, affecting the oxygenation or the balance of oxygen in the waters, causing many sea creatures to die in mass numbers. Are you aware that in an acidic environment, disease grow? Believe it or not, much of our oceans have become so acidic that many sea creatures are dying in mass numbers, and we are witnessing fish and even large sea creatures that once trod the bottom of the oceans rise up in their death. We are witnessing an extinction of many sea creatures as this message goes forth. Recently, NASA released a method for measuring the acidity of the oceans, and as a result of their findings, much of our seas have become acidic, with conditions enlarging and not improving, with no solution in sight. One would absolutely not have to look hard to discover there have been many instances of sea creatures washing up dead on the shores around the world. Believe it or not, life as we know it on this planet is dying, and that condition is increasing as I speak. If you search the scriptures, you will discover they bear witness to these words. The wrath of the Almighty Father includes massive death and destruction. Who has come to witness the life in the words in Revelation 6:8 and 9:18? Together, these two verses speak of well over 3.6 billion people that will die. Yes, my brothers and sisters, and it will happen during the Great Tribulation. Search and study, seek the life in the scriptures, and realize that this is something that is real and that is not too far from our doorsteps. On the matter of the trees, seek out information, and you will see that deforestation has become so widespread across the planet that the deforestation, the destruction of the trees across the planet, has contributed towards global warming and our atmosphere's inability to have the CO2 absorbed by trees due to deforestation. Deforestation is wider than it has ever been on this planet. Again, man's greed and neglect resulting into massive contributions to global warming and climate change. Regarding the trees, I say again, they have been harmed. My brothers and sisters, on the matter of being sealed, I am persuaded to believe that we are now on the path to discovering one another. Individuals who have been sealed in their foreheads, servants of the Almighty Father Yahuwah, who will fulfill the final exodus and or martyrdom for Yahushua's sake. We are on the path of refinement and improved worship like never before witnessed on this planet as we come to a close regarding life in these earthen vessels. At least those who will fulfill end-time prophecies, we will come to discover that the final exodus or martyrdom for Yahushua's name's sake is soon before our very eyes. I am compelled to believe we who are sealed will embrace the fact that what is now ordered will prove to be a time where discovery has begun, a time to discover the awakening, the rising of the Spirit of Yahushua among us, the awakening of a nation that was once ignored or asleep or scattered. We will discover brothers and sisters who will, if not already, come to embrace the fact that they are among the sealed servants of Yahuwah. Yes, we will discover our identities and we will rise up in confidence. We will rise up in the power and the strength and the might of the Almighty Father Yahuwah. We will be proved to be guided by the Spirit of Yahuwah, sent in Yahushua's name. As the Spirit of Yahushua works in us, we will discover being brought together in unity. My brothers and sisters, those who are in the ranks of the deniers regarding global warming and climate change only contribute to unbelief and deception. Remember, there will be those who will be among the ranks of individuals falling away, led astray, given over to the working of delusion, delivered to Satan for the destruction of the flesh in order that the spirit may be saved in the day of Yahuwah our Almighty Father. There will be those left behind. There will be those that we are purged from, or we will come away from, or we will purge from among us, as led by the Spirit of Yahushua. If you doubt that, consider the life in the following passages, my brothers and sisters. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 and 4 say, "Let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first, and the man of lawlessness is to be revealed, and the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called the Almighty One, or all that is worshipped, so that he sits as the Almighty One in the dwelling place of the Almighty One, showing himself that he is the Almighty One." Notice that it said, 2 Thessalonians 2:3, there will be a falling away. Matthew 24:5 says, "Many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they shall lead many astray." Matthew 24:11 says, "And many false prophets shall rise up and lead many astray." 2 Thessalonians 2:11 and 12 says, "For this reason the Almighty One sends them a working of delusion, for them to believe the falsehood, in order that all should be judged who did not believe the truth, but have delighted in unrighteousness." 1 Corinthians 5, verses 1 through 5 says, "It is commonly reported that there is whoring among you, and such whoring as is not even named among the Gentiles, so as one to have his father's wife. And you have been puffed up and did not rather mourn, so that he who has done this deed be removed from among you. For I indeed, as absent in the body but present in the spirit, have already judged the one who did this, as though I were present. In the name of our Master Yahushua Messiah, when you are gathered together in my spirit, and with the power of our Master Yahushua Messiah, deliver such a one to Satan for the destruction of the flesh, in order that his spirit may be saved in the day of Master Yahushua. My brothers and sisters, you can lean on the literal, you can look at the contextual, and you can stop there, or you can reread this passage and pray with a discerning mind and seek to discern the life in them. The passages that I just read, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 through 4, Matthew 24:5 and 24:11, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 11 through 12, and 1 Corinthians 5, verses 1 through 5. It will be wise to realize that in the coming days there will be those gathered in unity, and there will be brothers and sisters who will be left behind due to unbelief and or rebellion, with the exception of those left behind that will be martyrs for Yahushua's sake. Given all that lies ahead of us, my brothers and sisters, keep in mind once again, we have been sealed. The servants of Yahuwah have been sealed in our foreheads. Believe it or not, this includes 144,000 Hebrews or Abri, and a great multitude as mentioned in Revelation 7 chapter. This great multitude will be a large number, but it will be a remnant when you compare it to over 7.2 billion people on this planet. So many fail to realize that the 144,000 and great multitude represents the ranks of those who have been sealed in their foreheads. They read the part in Revelation 7:3 and think it only referred to the 144,000. I submit to you to examine the 7th chapter. It includes the 144,000 and great multitude. And I ask to the doubters and the deniers, who are you who think you command the true interpretation of scriptures? Who are you to think that the Most High's word does not include all those who pursue him, or it does not include those who are grafted together under one banner of Yasharal? Pray and watch. If you are a denier, are you sure of your position? If you are one who will be among the ranks of the children of obedience, prepared to face reproof, discipline, and repentance. He that is wise will or has come to know the wholeness in scriptures, and in interpreting scriptures have come to understand the life in them. It is dependent upon the teacher, the set apart spirit that the Almighty Father Yahuwah sent in Yahushua's name to teach us and guide us and bring things to our remembrance. I will pause here for part 1 of Sealed. Discovery has begun. I invite you to continue listening and tuning in as we move to part 2 of this segment, Sealed. Discovery has begun. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.